1.
All right, well, good morning, everyone. It is Thursday, March 30th, which means we finally made it to the MLB season. And today we're here to break down our top stacks and pitching options for today's FanDuel slate. So, Justin, you want to get into that?
So the top pitchers for today's slate, according to the data, let me pull it real quick. So it's got DeGrom, Cole, Scherzer, Alcantara, Corbin Burns. The one that we really like today is Shane McClanahan, going against Detroit, and we all know how crappy Detroit is. That one really stands out, and considering he's kind of, according to our data, he's kind of like down the line. I really like McClanahan because you're gonna have everyone throwing Garrett Cole because he's Garrett Cole. Corbin Burns is the most expensive one, but McClanahan is 10-4 on FanDuel compared to uh Burns and Cole. So Burns is 11K, Garrett Cole's 9K, then it goes to or sorry, Garrett Cole 10.9K, Burns 11K, and then right after that is DeGrom. So you're saving a little bit of money with McClanahan, but what else you got? What else you thinking?
I'm on board with that pick. I would say McClanahan is good if you need an extra few hundred bucks. But for me, the top pitching option is DeGrom. Just based on ownership, looks like Garrett Cole's going to pull the most, and maybe 20-ish, maybe max 25%. And then Corbin Burns. So if I'm getting DeGrom at the third or fourth highest owned on any slate, I'll gladly take that. I think he's the best pitcher in baseball. So DeGrom will probably be my pitching option depending on my stacks. I haven't exactly built out my second stack yet, but if I need the money, I might go to McClanahan.
So we were talking last night. What do you think of Snell?
Um, Again, he's a good option because he's playing a watered down Rockies lineup in a bad park. Um, so I think he's fine. I just, with so many good pitching options and FanDuel being a one pitcher slate site rather than DraftKings, I'd rather just pay up that extra thousand than pay up an extra thousand for a bat.
Yeah, that makes sense. Um,
We've seen Snell get blown up plenty of times for no reason. So
oh, I know. Oh, I know. I've lived it, unfortunately, many times. I'm sure you
so
have too. So,
yeah, going into stacks, looks like at least for what we have right now, using stochastics data, that the Twins are going to be the most popular stack. Something I
yeah,
am definitely uncomfortable with. They've robbed me of plenty of coin in my day, but
I'm sure both of us aren't the only ones. So,
so and then it says the Pirates, Sox, then maybe the Reds. I think some ownership's going to that Reds Pirates game just because both pitchers are very volatile, and the Pirates have a decent top of the order with some power, so I can see that. But I think my favorite stack, at least for pay up wise, is going to be the Braves. I think they'll probably be the most chalky, overpriced stack as far as like get the major bats, Riley, Ozzy. I mean, they're going to be facing Corbin Burns, so you can't really get a better matchup on the slate.
yeah, one of my sticks I wrote down, one of my sneaky favorite ones was the Braves, just because they're playing Washington. But yeah, right now it says the Twins, Pirates, Red Sox. The Cubs have a better leverage score. But that's because everyone's going to be playing Pittsburgh, Twins, Red
Yeah,
Sox. So just because of the leverage, maybe that's kind of intriguing me. But then again, I don't want to fall for that trap because fuck the Cubs. Um,
I do think on opening day, ownership is going to be more dispersed then
Yeah,
usually like
true.
usually you see like stack ownership reach the 20s. It can maybe low mid 20s. So seeing that the Twins being the most popular, like 17, maybe ownership won't be as important to get contrarian, but maybe
Right.
just swap a bat or two in your stacks and you should be good.
Right. I was telling you last night, I for whatever reason, the Pirates are standing out to me a little bit. Just because one, it's like if people are following the data more than we think, they're going to be playing like the Twins and mixing in some other bets, like with whoever they want.
Mhm.
But you got O'Neill Cruz, Key Brian Hayes, Brian Reynolds, who's arguably their best batter. Um, who are some people I was saying? The thing is, though, is they're a little on the cheaper end. Um, Reynolds, they got Carlos Santana, I think, now too, so he's a bit of a cheaper option. So I'm not saying like play those guys, but some of them look a little intriguing. Something I was the Twins actually had their lineup set from last night. So they have Gallo, Buxton, Miranda, Correa, Larnick, and Kepler are kind of like the bats that I would look into, not obviously throw them all into a lineup, but like Gallo, Larnick, Kepler are pretty cheap. Even Correa to an extent, but I mean, the last couple of years he hasn't been outstanding great, but he used to be in the Buxton category. Like I think Buxton's like 35. I'll pull it up here. He was like 3,500 and now he's a little less. I think he's down to like 3,000 now or something, which is, you know,
What was Gallo's price? I'm surprised they slotted him in the one hole. I actually didn't see that.
I think he's like
He's like 2K. Like
2.4.
yeah, he's probably gonna get the highest owned batter on the slate since
Oh
he
yeah,
him,
definitely.
him and Larnick probably because they're both 2,400. Both have outfield eligibility, I think, and are both facing the same matchup. So
Yeah, Correa's 3K.
Correa, I really like if you're gonna do that stack, you have to have Correa and Buxton for me, just to have the power.
Oh,
But
ouch. What did I click? Yeah, I checked FanDuel last night. He was 2.4K.
do you remember last year if it was did Buxton have 2 home runs on day one, or was that like I feel like it was somewhere in the first week where he had back-to-back homers on
It
the
had to have been first week. I don't remember for sure, but
yeah. He usually starts out hot, gets hurt, and then drops like 10 home runs at the back end of the season and finishes with like 25. So I would get on Buxton while you can.
yeah, exactly. And I'm a confirmed Twins hater, so this kind of hurts me to play them. But then again, it's gonna be like every slate we gotta play them. So
Right. So yeah, I think at least my route so far is going to be going to Grom, Braves, and then sprinkling in a cheaper stack, whether that's Minnesota or the Pirates. I think Milwaukee is a good shout. They got some cheap bats with some power.
mhm.
So I like them. And I'm not as high on the Sox. I can see it, but I
Yeah,
think
I'm not
just
either.
I think there's better spots as far as like gaining some ownership leverage. So
I was just gonna say something like, "Oh, like I see Philly is a little down there," but then again, they're facing DeGrom, so
I
good luck to
I
them.
don't I don't see Philly coming out hot. I just think they're going to have some lag from last season. Losing Hoskins is a big hit to the lineup,
Oh
and
yeah, definitely.
so we'll see. But you got anything else to add?
Not really. One thing I kind of like a little tip, don't be afraid to play some cheap guys, even if they're like if you have data and you see like hardly any ownership or very low ownership, if it's to save money and get better bats or to pay up for a pitcher, that's one of the things I've learned since playing because I would always be like, oh, I need like everyone over like 3K and then try to get like whatever pitching I can. And that would always like screw me over. So the
Mhm.
one tip if you're like starting off or you don't know where to land is look and see who's starting and build your stacks, whatever, but try to mix in maybe how many would you say, like two, maybe three cheaper bets, depending on the slate, I guess. But it's also like
For
don't be afraid to go like cheap, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, if you're paying 10.5 and plus for a FanDuel pitcher, you're gonna need some 2K bats. Just
Hmm.
you're also gonna need studs. You're gonna need the Flatties. You're gonna need the Austin Rileys, and to carry you to the top because that's how you get there. You get those two home run games from the studs,
Right.
and then you get 12 from Joey Gallo or whoever's 2.4.
Yeah.
But I do try to differentiate myself with maybe my studs and stacks. Like I think Sean Murphy's a good shout today at catcher for the Braves. Major power, good signing. So I might try to get different there. And yeah, I think my route, like I said, will be DeGrom, Braves, and then figure out the rest of the bats.
Yeah, I like that. I'm so happy we don't have to play NBA as much anymore, even though we're probably gonna play it tonight.
We'll probably play anyways, but it is nice to get off that.
But who's winning it all?
I still got Milwaukee.
All right,
If they can stay healthy, uh, they just Giannis is the goat. So
good man. Because I agree.
if this
Hopefully my Bulls find a way in, but I have no idea because they got blown out by the Lakers, and when that happens, you're screwed.
they're fighting for the Hawks for that last spot, right?
I think so, actually.
I think
Yeah, I
they're
think
two
so.
games back, so that'll be interesting.
Oh boy, this is gonna get interesting. All right.
Well,
Um, anything else? I
I
think we're
think that's
good.
it for me. Well, as the slates continue, we'll start putting some plays of the day on Twitter and stuff going forward. So just make sure to check us out. And thanks for tuning in.